Hi, we're Oxygen Conservation, and this is the Shoot Room Sessions. Welcome to the Shoot Room Sessions. Hi, Esme.
Hiya.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Esme. I'm an ecologist at Oxygen Conservation. I was an intern, but now I am working under Dan's incredible team and basically helping save the environment, just a little hedgerow at a time. That's my plan. So.
Nice, lovely. So, a little different start. How did you hear about OC?
Well, back in November last year, I was applying for a load of internships. I kind of had a bit of a kick up the bum being like, oh no, I need a career after finishing third year. So was
that a self-imposed kick or did someone else kick you?
I self-imposed, but I've always been very encouraged to kind of get a first job, let's say. So yeah, I basically applied for loads of companies and then came across your advert, which said something along the lines of looking for the misfits and the crazy ones.
Were you aware that came? Did you get what that reference was?
Yeah. Well, I watched the Apple thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But then that immediately kind of resonated with me.
And which one were you? The misfit, the rebel, or the crazy one?
Probably misfit.
Right.
But so that basically resonated with me. And then thought, what is this company? I've got to have a look. And then I read about the company, but you didn't have a massive website then.
No, it was really early.
Yeah. I don't think I quite understood what you did, but I thought it was really cool. I think I basically saw that it was a conservation company that was in like the business sector, which you never really get. And I had a lot of experience working under environmental companies like wildlife trusts and stuff. And it was just kind of perfect. So I was really intrigued and wanted to have a go. But yeah.
My brain's going in two directions. So we'll come back to the previous experience of the sector. We'll keep going on your OC journey first. So application goes in. What happened next?
Well, application, I actually missed the deadline first. So then I messaged. My application was ready and I was so excited about it. I wanted to get it perfect. So I got there, was ready to submit it and then looked and it said deadline closed. So then I cried. And then I
you emailed me?
No, I emailed Katie,
right.
And I basically said, Katie, please read my application.
Yeah.
And she did, which is really lovely.
Nice.
And then
the moral of that story is compete for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So should I give away this in public forum? Yeah. If anyone ever asked me for the interview question, our marketing manager Ella's got her head in her hands behind the camera for anyone who can't see this. If anyone ever asked me for the interview pack, I'm going to give it to them. No one ever does. It's like, compete for it, ask for more. We ran a competition for to partner with us on valuing our landscape portfolio. And one of the parties, first presentation that came in wasn't great. We gave them some feedback and they went, thanks for that. Can we go again? And I was like, yeah. Well, if people ask for it, so the fact you asked for it was already a good sign. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we read it, then what happened?
And then a couple of weeks later, got a message through saying, welcome to you're on the long list, I think it said. And then we'd like to interview you. So then I met with you and Simon, which was lovely. And you two were just basically grinning at each other for the whole half hour. That's what I remember the most.
So I think it was the first time Simon had done any interviewing, really.
Yeah, I got that impression. I felt that you were also interviewing Simon or like testing him to see what he was going to do at the same time. But
that's accurate.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really lovely. And actually, immediately in the first, I was so excited for it, but really nervous. And then in the first 5 minutes, it just kind of felt like it was the right team. So.
He decided that we had to hire you in that meeting. He's like, we have to hire this person. And I wasn't as sure. I was like, very talented, but we're seeing hundreds of people. Let's keep an open mind. And then what happened next?
And then shortlist. So then was it the intern day? So then
tell people about the intern day.
So the intern day, I want to say about 7 of us were invited to Leon, which is our amazing estate down in Dartmoor, and we met the team. So we went for a night stay, had dinner with the team in Auction House, which was incredible, and just immediately meeting people made you really comfortable. And then we
brought some external guests and friends from different wildlife organisations and stuff to that dinner, so that our whole thing was we wanted you to learn and have access to people throughout the whole part of it.
Yeah, that was lovely. And then all stayed in the same hotel overnight, and then in the morning woke up super early, had an incredible breakfast with the team. You were there. I think you were like travelling back from London or
We've
something.
been at a Burns night event in Scotland with our amazing legal team at Derby Salmon, who Ross Simpson, the amazing lead partner there, is coming on shoot room session soon, which we're super excited about. So we'd been at that event and we'd had a 22-hour day, and I was going on 3 hours sleep when we came down for that breakfast.
Yeah, I remember that. And then
you bullied me.
And then we went to Leon.
We did, yeah.
And then walked around Leon, had a big chat.
Q&A session in the morning.
Q&A session, yeah. So you asked.
I had a massive migraine and couldn't see anyone in the room. So I made a deal that either Dan or Katie was going to like keep me to time because I couldn't see anything, but I would just take questions, but I didn't know where they were coming from. So, and I can't even remember. I just remember you taking the piss out of me.
I did take the piss out of you. I remember you saying no one here is allowed to leave the room until you all ask a question. And then I think we walked past. In Leon, they had this, like, obviously the old residents have this like height chart of all the kids. And I think I pointed to a low one and said, that was you, Rich.
So you made a visual joke to a guy who couldn't see. That was particular.
But I didn't know that at the time, to be honest. So
that was the point where I immediately went, we had to hire you. Mm-hmm. Do you know why I made the call at that point?
No, I had no idea.
Because the ability for you in that environment, surrounded by people that you were competing for jobs with, in as nice an environment as we can put, but the face you pulled when you said we were all in the same hotel, you knew you were competing. So that was a thing. And the fact that you felt confident and able to do that. We have what I think is an amazing culture, but if you are not prepared to say your opinion, everyone else in the team will, so you need to get it in there. So I knew you were brave enough and confident enough to do that. And the fact that you pitched it in a way that it was funny in that room full of people meant you were super bright and clever enough, because that could have gone terribly. To read that room and just decide to take the piss out of an MD or a CEO of a company, I mean, it's a bold move.
Yeah, I went home and I was like, well, I might have got it, but I might have not, because I did take the piss out of Rich. And my friend was like, oh my God.
Being you was a key part of that. So, sorry, the rest of the day, so you ripped the piss out of me. I'd already ticked your name on the box that I couldn't see. But what did we do after that?
So after the Q&A session, then we walked around Leon and basically saw the site, saw the ancient rainforest that it is, and anybody that can get there, please go. It's incredible.
Not too many people. Delicate footstep.
And then came back and had a huge spread. I think we had a big buffet or something like that.
Yeah, food from the estate. So we can connect the fact that regenerative agriculture is a key part of what we're doing, what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. And then what did we do? Then did we just...
broke into different groups and talked about different aspects of careers with different people.
We did. I spoke to Dave because Simon wasn't there. And I remember everyone else went off to their sponsors, because that's the thing that you do where you sponsor people. Yeah. And Simon had sponsored me. And then he hadn't rocked up. So I was talking to Dave. And I think me and Dave were in the situation of half an hour talking to someone that we thought had nothing in common with. So I think it's probably quite a good thing as well.
It's probably a good person to be interviewed by in terms of Dave, because it is from one. So Dave's our head of operations, who loves a process, detail-orientated stuff, very measured, quite belligerently sarcastic. Love you, Dave. But yeah, so that's an interesting part of the process. So all goes well, day ends. Mm-hmm. What was the offer like? Did Simon do that?
Lara did it.
Lara did it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because with Simon being away, Lara was like, no, I would like Esme. Yeah.
So yeah, and then day finished, and then I think a couple of weeks later, Lara called me up. I remember I was walking to campus. I remember her calling me up at like 9 a.m, and then she was like, we're absolutely delighted. We'd love to offer you the internship.
And what did you think when that call came in?
I was absolutely over the moon. I mean, I didn't even look at another job after I applied for you. And I was like, I either get this internship or I don't do something and I go on to do something else next year. So it was either this or nothing, because once you see oxygen conservation, you don't really want to do anything else. So, yeah.
Soundbite. Love that. So we're now at OC. Mm-hmm. What has surprised you the most about working here?
I think that, I know there was obviously lots of like advertisement about how everyone is a family and everyone is very,
It's hard to believe though, right?
It is, but literally everybody here is just friends as well, which is really lovely. Fast paced. I obviously hadn't really had any experience in coming straight out of uni, but not so fast that you can't do it if you're passionate enough about it. I think it's not really as much of a job. I've had two working parents my whole life who have worked a 9 to 5, and I kind of thought going to work would be the same thing. But actually, no, I just come out of the day really excited. So, and also learning a whole new thing. I went into doing GIS with Lara. I'd never even thought about doing GIS in my life. And huge challenge, but amazing new skill to learn. So big thank you to Lara as well, I think.
So Lara's our lead on everything data visualization and is just amazing. She's just a wizard. So it's really interesting you described that. So we'd spotted that you were incredibly talented and we wanted to find a way to get you in from an intern perspective. So that's why that role with Lara sat. It was a place to get you in and give you an opportunity. And what you really did that impressed was that wasn't your specialism, but you saw an opportunity and just attacked it. And within a week or so, Lara called me and went, Esme's found my to-do list and is completing things on my to-do list that I haven't asked her to do. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah.
Which for me was just like, okay, now I'm ready to say. So we have someone that's sharp enough and brave enough to rip it out of me immediately. They're so proactive and on it, they're working on that. I'm thinking, wow, this is really exciting. Why did you do that?
Don't know.
Because it was there?
It was there. I mean, me and Lara share a Trello, a to-do list. But I wanted to help her and to learn. And also, I guess, as the skills I was learning, I wanted to kind of test myself on it a bit.
Nice.
But yeah, it's new, isn't it? It's exciting.
And then we had a team event in Wales where we had a welcome event at Esgarrath farm there and then a day co-steering the next day. Do you remember the dinner and the conversation you had with Chris?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And tell people about that.
So I kind of have always seen myself as a marine biologist from background. And we have a really cool site called the Firth of Tay, which it seems like lots of people have kind of know nothing about because it's a lot of mud.
In the best possible way. Yeah.
And we were just talking about seagrass restoration, which has always been something I've been really interested in. And
you weren't just talking about it. You did a 45-minute back and forward presentation with Chris, who is one of the most, he's a genius. Speed of thought is incredible. And Chris famously, during the intern recruitment process, before he met you and Abby and James, said, I don't think an intern could ever do anything that would impress me. So while you and him were having this conversation, so you're still an intern at this point, I'm looking at Chris just smiling going, really? Really? And we walked out and went to the bar and I looked at him and he went, yeah, okay, I'm impressed.
Oh.
And that was the point where, and then ironically, Simon walked out at the same time. We said, Simon, what do you think if we were to hire Esme? He's like, I told you to the first moment we met her. So that was like the cars that lined up there. And we're very fortuitous that we had an opportunity for an ecology role to work alongside Simon. And we did do that recruitment. We went out and we had 100 or something applicants and we literally sifted them against you. And you beat 100 plus people for your job.
That.
So
that's really lovely.
Smashed it. Okay. My next question is, so you were planning on going back to do a master's?
Yeah.
That was going to be
in global sustainability solutions. So basically, I came out of a biology degree and I wanted to learn how to make a business green. So I was like, okay.
How do you do that?
So my plan was to go back and go into the business school and basically learn business from scratch. I had no experience in it. Very basic, learn all about sustainability, do a bit of geography and all of that. And it's basically a very holistic approach to a master's, which is really exciting. But then obviously you offered me the job and we had a conversation and I said, if I'm going to take this, I want to learn how to make a business cream. And since then I've had a lot of books. But I mean, everything I will learn in the master's, I will hopefully learn here. And I know I will because it's happening in real life, whereas there's only so much you can learn from.
Your timing couldn't have been any more perfect, right? Because if things had fallen 1 or 2 months either way, that, and I remember you saying to me, if I go back and do this master's, the company won't be where it is now, or that chance might not. And that was the thing I couldn't promise. I always wanted to be able to find a role for you, but I don't know what it's going to look like in 12 months. So the fact that you said, I'd really like to stay was awesome. Everyone was delighted about it. So anything you found particularly challenging, hard, difficult about the transition from uni to the OC experience?
Yes, I think probably a lot of change. I think I didn't exactly find the transition hard because I was going from a fast-paced environment anyway into quite a quick one with OC. But I found after you offered me the job quite difficult because I basically had to work out my life in a weekend.
Yeah.
And then
Because the arrangements are in place to go do the masters.
And other changes, I think, just literally doing like a 9 to 5, working out my giving myself breaks. I have struggled with making sure I'm doing stuff after work that's giving me exercise, or still doing the stuff I would do, you know, finding that structure and that control on my own calendar. It's also been a huge thing, which I know that you really push, but actually I've loved controlling a calendar and being really open with it, because naturally I'm very messy and very disorganized. So yeah, that's been a big change. So all for the better, but lots to learn.
It's a quick learning case. It's an immediate, you now have to be a professional at this.
Yeah.
And we can help and support as much, but it is, as you said, changes you've got to make in that. My biggest piece of advice for people early in their career out watching this: calendar. It's your best tool, your best weapon. Because if something doesn't go in your calendar, you're not adding any more in. You've got to put the things in there that are important and build around it. And another lens of it I've seen at the moment is we've got some people in the team that have got some really exciting things happening to them personally, but it means they need to protect certain times in their calendar. And what I've adored is seeing the rest of the team move meetings around to respect and protect that time for these people. And if you didn't have visibility of everyone, so everyone's calendar is visible to everyone, you can have private appointments that are not people's businesses, but whether you're available or not is visible. And I think that's such a key tool. You mentioned reading that you've been set. What books have you read so far?
Well, I've read The Innovation Stack, which I read it very quickly.
Why did I ask you to read that?
Because it's basically the basis of how you based OC.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody, if you read it, you can literally hear Rich in it.
I didn't write this book. Look out for the OC.
But yeah, so incredible book. And coming from a background knowing nothing about business, it's really eye-opening.
I just I feel so fortunate because you're far brighter and far more talented than I was when I came out of uni, and far more mature. I wish I'd have had, so when I was saying I want to learn more, someone just to go read this and because I was having to grope around and try and find that information. And there's so many exciting books around there now, and YouTube channels and masterclasses and things that are possible. So you did devour that and came back with like 17 and learning points. And I love the last one, which said, do you remember?
I can't remember what I said.
Everyone's got to read this book.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the latest one I've set?
The latest one is called Oversubscribed.
Okay. Have you started that one
No.
yet? Okay. So that is the marketing and branding approach to what we're doing. So they're the sort of fundamentals I want to give first: the business philosophy, entrepreneurship, the marketing side of it, and then probably let your people go surfing the Patagonia Leadership book next. It's going to be exciting. So the next thing we've got coming up is this year's intern campaign.
Yeah.
So we are going to ask you, Abby and James, 3 of our amazing former interns that have become permanent members of staff, to help screen future candidates. What are you going to be looking for in the next great intern?
I think someone that's really ambitious and really resilient. I think someone...
Are you just trying to recruit another you?
No.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want someone to fill my place.
Literally before we started rolling this camera, I said to Esme, are you going to sabotage really talented people? And she's like, because of course she is. I would have done that. So we have got a system and process in place. If you're uber talented out there, we will not let Esme sabotage you. However, if she's really, really nice to you, you might want to be worried about that. I don't know. Sorry, go on.
Somebody that, has literally lived and breathed their passion. I think that when you read, I haven't read many, I'm sure Abby and James will be able to give me more information on this, but when you read someone's CV or hear about their life history, you can really tell if they've literally committed their life to the cause.
Yeah.
And
because if not, it's not going to fit right.
No.
If someone likes the idea of being sort of environmentally focused, because it's becoming the fashionable thing to look at, right? I think if someone comes in and goes, oh yeah, and they rock in with a disposable plastic bottle and consumerist, the whole team would be a bit like, this is weird. So
yeah, and then somebody that wants to learn, ask loads of questions. I think I spent the first 2 months just asking questions and not saying anything back. So I think that's probably it. And just,
nice.
Yeah.
Love it. One of my bits of advice from a CV is I read them bottom up, because I'm in a very fortunate position that often I'll see a CV after it's been filtered a few times. But at that point, I know they're qualified, they're able to do some form of job. Are they exciting? Are they going to make us a better team? Are they going to increasingly throughout my career, I've learned that the more energy someone brings to a team, and that doesn't mean necessarily rah-rah, but positivity and coaching and development and helping others, you raise everybody up, which is really exciting. So my final question for you, I think, is what does scaling conservation mean to you?
I think that scaling conservation is doing your bit a little bit everywhere. And if you can do that one small thing everywhere, then actually you've made a big difference across everything that you've touched. That's scaling conservation in my eyes.
Perfect. And how have you found your first podcast experience?
Amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
Less scary than I thought.
Totally just conversation. Thank you very much. That's us done from the shoot room. Have a great day.